The rim process utilizes low-cost machined aluminum molds. Exothermic, we like to make our own molds. We have a couple CNC milling machines. Because it's a good process for large parts, we have relatively large machines, so we can make molds that are over 5 feet long. We utilize the latest in technologies, high-speed machines, machining centers that have the processors built to take a lot of data that comes out of the modern software packages. We utilize Mastercam. We've got the latest version, and we stay updated with our training. So we're utilizing feature-based machining, and what that allows us to do in terms of employing technology is to provide lower cost molds. The lead times are very short. Typically we can make a mold in 2 to 4 weeks, which is approaching on the envelope of prototype parts. So we like to think that our production molds can also be used to provide prototypes. Oftentimes, because of the nature of the part and the fact that we're making low-cost molds, there are features in the parts that get machined in. So we will create fixtures and programs to cycle parts through the machining center, where we'll machine or mill in certain details like vents or side pulls or side actions. Well, the advantage of building molds and processing the parts in-house is twofold. One is that we have a core competency. We're very good at designing the molds for our own process and machining them, and we're very reliable in terms of meeting our delivery expectations. And secondly, it keeps the cost down. We don't necessarily have to charge the market rate to produce molds. Exothermic's been in business. The original company was formed in 1972. Became Exothermic Molding in 1986. We have employees who have been here since the early 70s. It's not uncommon for employees to be here 15, 20, 25 years. So we don't have a lot of turnover. We have a lot of people with a lot of knowledge about not only designing and building molds, but there's also the secondary fixtures. There's what you need to know about painting and masking, silk screening, all of the little details that are added to the parts that add value to the parts are handled by people who have a lot of experience and knowledge, and it brings forward a high-quality finished part to the customer. Over here we have a reaction injection molding machine. It represents pretty much the state-of-the-art in processing technology. It's a brand new machine. We continually invest in new machines and products to help us become a state-of-the-art manufacturer. This machine has PLC, or programmable logic control, of the machine. It's got flow sensors. Everything that happens electronically is fed back through a display on the front of the machine, and we can process these chemicals very accurately. Well, one of the things that's good to know about this machine is it can pump about 200 pounds a minute of liquid urethane through the dispensing head. What that means to the customer is we can produce some very large parts. Because the urethane has a typical reactivity profile, normally you only have 10 to 15 seconds to get the urethane into the mold. It translates into making shots that can be 40, 50 pounds or so, depending on the exact chemistry. The mold up there weighs about 8,000 pounds. It produces a part that's roughly 4 feet by 4 feet and about 24 inches deep. It's one of the larger parts we make. And we made the mold here, and what you're seeing up in the press there is a pretty large mold in the molding business. This is a really big part that we molded here. It came out of that mold over there, and as you can see, it's pretty large. Pretty much cover me up if it had to. Lots of ribs, lots of internal details, bosses, threaded inserts, and a nice painted finish. All right, we're talking about ribs. As you get larger parts and you're trying to keep the part weight down, which is part of the game in plastics, you need to add ribs to add some structure to the part. And there's various design parameters for ribs. What you're looking at are different ribs that actually support this part to make it stronger. One of the other features of this part is that it has secondary drilling operations. It also has shielding, RFI, EMI shielding underneath the paint, and of course the outside is painted with a textured machine finish. We've got our own roamer arm. This is a coordinate measuring machine. It can measure on a 4-foot radius or within an 8-foot envelope. It's magnetic mounted, so we can take it out onto our mold presses or out to our machining centers to verify any data and measurements. And what we do with this is we measure parts typically both in process and as a final inspection. We are allowed we create inspection reports, and we can inspect a lot of dimensions very quickly and accurately with this machine. The software runs on a PC. It's called Power Inspect, and this is basically state-of-the-art inspection equipment.